Hello, everybody. I'm President Sean Dixon, and I'm just so excited tonight. I'm here at the Prepare and Provide Family Home Evening event. Been around to all the booths, and I am learning so much about things that I can do to be prepared in case of different kinds of emergencies. Last night, we had a special fireside, and in that fireside, we talked about you can store all the cans that you want, but if you're not prepared emotionally and spiritually for the challenges in your life, then you're not going to be okay. And so we talked about last night things we could do. And one of the things that we looked at, and I'd invite everybody in the stake to look at, is Ether chapter 6, verses 1 through 13 in the Book of Mormon as a master class on how to have resiliency. This is the story of the Jaredites crossing the ocean and how they were able to make it 344 days on the water. And so I invite you to read that as families and to talk about what you learn about resiliency from the Jaredites and what they did. But so glad to be part of this incredible event, and just invite you all to be prepared, and then you shall not fear.
My name is Colleen Reif. I am the Spanish Fork East Stake Relief Society Secretary, and I am introducing the Kids Corner, also the Game Corner. So if there's a catastrophe and there's no electricity, what are you going to do for entertainment? We have a button spinner with our theme this year, and you take the button spinner and twirl it around. Let in a little bit of space, and let's hope I get this right. So there you go. You got your old-fashioned button spinner. We've got some sidewalk chalk and instructions of all the different things you can do with sidewalk chalk. And here are instructions for Cat's Cradle. And then games that you can do without anything needed. Red light, green light, Mother May I. And the Cat's Cradle, we have a generation that doesn't know how to do this. We need to teach them how. So you take the string, and I have my very best friend here, Jolyn Whitaker. She's going to show us how to play Cat's Cradle. So you grab the X's, and you pull it around. So there you go. So we have a kit full of games and activities that you can do when you have no electricity. Well, it's more just to add to your 72-hour kit or to your emergency preparedness, so you have some sort of entertainment, especially those with little kids. You want to have something to do. So we want to make sure that you're not only prepared for cooking food or filtering water, but also to have some sort of entertainment for your family.
I'm Lena Harwood,
I'm Shani Call.
and we're doing the Butane Stoves, and we're just kind of showing how easy they are. So yeah, just take your cylinder, pop it in, close it, turn it on. You can use them inside if you have good ventilation, and the cylinders last about 2 hours on high. We've been doing the freeze-dried eggs to show everybody how good they are. So they're easy, they're inexpensive, they're around $30-40 for the stoves, and they're a very good thing for your food storage. If the power's off, you can cook. If you've never done this, it's very easy for anybody to use.
So they're really compact and really easy to store. They come in a little case just like this. You can open it up. Whoops, got all my stuff in it. But they're just really small, just really portable, and you could take it with you if you needed to.
And hers is a newer one, and it came with propane tube that you can hook up to a propane, not just the butane. So you can,
sorry, it's in the bag still, but you can hook it right up to a propane tank and use it outside to be able to cook as well. So it's all part of the kit. Yeah, so I just bought this one on Amazon. It was $28.99 and really inexpensive. You can buy the 4 of the canisters for $10.99, which is really inexpensive, and you can store these down, in your food storage. Pretty simple. It's just simple.
We are baking chocolate chip cookies in a Dutch oven. We've got different sizes. There's a 16-inch oven and a 14-inch oven. And what else you got here, Gordon?
Go down to an 8. The Dutch oven is the forerunner to the convection oven for waterless cookware. You can cook anything in a Dutch oven that you cook in your oven at home. My favorite recipes are probably Betty Crocker or the Lion House or any Ward cookbook. My mom's recipes are preferred. We're using briquettes. It's the constant even heat coming from top and bottom that gives you that convection cooking experience. Briquettes, the nice thing about them is they're a great fuel to store because they don't have a shelf life. I've got briquettes that have been used in storage for 10 years, and they burn just as good 10 years later as they did the day they're new. With Dutch oven cooking, there are several sizes of ovens. If you'll notice over here, we stacked them from a 14 up to an 8. Some people say that bigger is better. You use what works for you. For my wife and I, these top 2 ovens are the best for us because we can't eat it, everything you'd cook in a 16-inch oven. But we really like that number 8 and the number 10 oven because it works well for us. This number 10 oven is what I learned to cook in 40 years ago. My mom would send me to the mountain for cow camp on Monday, and she would send me up with Jiffy cake mixes. One night I'd cook cornbread, the next night I'd cook cake. I burned a lot of bread, but I learned how to cook in an oven. Or you can come right over here, and you can just get a regular pan that's just off the dirt, but keep them off the dirt. So you can have a setup for $10 and be ready to go with your own Dutch oven table. So if you want to get into Dutch oven cooking, start small. Get it, and start with a small oven that will you can prepare proportions that you'll be able to eat. But it is an experiential experience. But stay with it and just have fun.
So I'm Jill Gardner. My booth is just for laundry and sanitation. And so it's to help find ways to keep things clean and sanitary in an emergency. That's pretty much what that is. And it also shows you how to do laundry in emergency as well if you don't have electricity, stuff like that to help be able to clean your clothes. And so, but all these things are biodegradable and combustible, so you can get rid of them so they won't, stockpile around your house. I think it's a good way to use these things on a daily basis and get used to using these so that when an emergency happens, you're already prepared and you're not so it's already automatically in your bins because you use it on a daily basis. Because I would use this toilet paper on a daily basis because it doesn't clog your toilet as much as regular toilet paper. So a lot of these things would be good, even if you're a camper or like to travel, or if you like to camp. These are also good things you can use for that, not just for emergency preparedness.
I'm Janice Orr, and we're doing apple box ovens tonight. So they are made from an apple box right from the grocery store. And then inside there is a tinfoil pan with briquettes in it. And that's what's giving the heat off. And then it has a thermostat. It's all covered with foil inside and out. I don't know if you can see inside. This is a turkey bag, a turkey cooking bag. And if you can see inside, there's muffins cooking inside there. Yeah, it's warm. And then this one we can open it up and you can see what it looks like inside. And they take about the same time to cook these muffins as at home, about 15 minutes.
Yeah. So are you cooking muffins today?
That's what's inside. And then we've got some samples of muffins that we didn't cook here, but there are some muffins there also that we baked here tonight. The point of my booth is to show you how to cook in an apple box oven. Oh. Yeah, so you can get the instructions off of YouTube. Okay. And they're really easy to follow because I did it last year and didn't know anything about them. But it is something that really realistically you could cook and not have to do a lot of preparation for. This does work with briquettes. And the rule of thumb is 1 briquette is 35 degrees. So if you're going to do it 350 degrees, you want 10 briquettes. So it doesn't take a lot of briquettes, a lot of fuel source either. And it works. And now we've got somebody looking at it.
I am Cecily Weatherford. I'm in the Spanish Peak Ward, Spanish Forks East Stake. And we are demonstrating sun ovens. They rely strictly on the sun. There is no other source of fuel for them. And they say they work even in the winter, even in the snow on a sunny day, although I have not tried that myself. I've just heard that from other people. This is a fuel-less source of cooking. You always have the sun. One of the cons about them is that they are a little costly. They run about $449 a piece, but they don't cost anything to use, and you can use them year-round on a sunny day. This is meatloaf. I got the oven up to about 400 degrees one day that I was making these, and they cooked in about an hour. And these are muffins. Blueberry here, cranberry here.
Hi, I'm Dale Lewis, and I'm with Fortress Clothing. Fortress Clothing is a cold weather clothing company. The thing that differentiates us from everybody else is our technology. We have a patented cold weather clothing installation. It was patented in 2017, so really it's the latest and greatest technology on keeping people warm. You know, people know food storage when it comes to prepping. Most people don't understand the concept of heat storage, but that's really what we offer. And so we have base layers. So you can wear this top, which is a crew neck top. We also offer it in a quarter zip top, together with our pant. And when you wear this top and pant, together with just an outer shell, literally just a windbreaker, you're going to be comfortable to about -10. Of course, that's based on your body type, hydration, and activity level. We also offer for your hands, these are our survival mittens. These are crazy warm. 3/4 inch insulation on the top with 3/8 inch in the palm. We also offer that in the glove. Great construction, good quality, and it has our patented insulation inside. So base layers, vests, we have jackets and coats. This is the lightest weight coat. We actually had it rated for what's called a weight to warmth to weight ratio. So it's lighter than down and warmer than down. And in addition to that, something I haven't told you is all of our gear, our patented technology allows you to be simultaneously warm while wet. So go on our website, fortressclothing.com, look at the videos we have, and the videos are crazy. We go up to Huntington Reservoir, which is about 60 miles south of here, 10,000 feet elevation. We cut through 3 feet of ice and we jump into a frozen lake. When you're in the water, you are wet and cold to your skin. When you get out within 45 seconds, you're warm. You know, you obviously need to have some food. You need some sanitation preparedness items. And I think that's the first key, is that mindset of I'm taking control. And the mindset is I'm either going to be a liability to everybody else because I'm not prepared and I don't have the knowledge or the know-how, or I'm going to survive and I'm going to thrive. And by thrive, I mean you can help other people. I think ultimately preparedness is community, and so you're not just getting things. You kind of have an attitude of I'm being prepared. I live a self-reliant lifestyle, and I'm going to be here to take care of my friends and family.
I'm Barbara Hazard from the Spanish Peak Court, and I'm showing a demonstration on thermal cooking. That's all these are big thermoses. They retain heat very well. We have water in here for thermal mass. Underneath is the food. There's the chili. I had soaked the beans and then I boiled them for 20 minutes with their sauce. This was boiling hot when I put them all together. When we seal it all up. Now, these have been in here since last night. They were done this morning, but it didn't matter that I didn't stop. They're never going to burn, and they just keep getting better and better. I have homemade thermal cookers over here that I did the bread and the cinnamon roll in. The big pot was full, had boiling hot water in it. The dough was in the cans. You seal it, and it's done in 2 hours. What matters is the insulation. Again, you've got the pot in the middle and the insulation all around it. And the ladies in Kenya taught the humanitarian ladies that went over there how to cook rice. They thought you had to boil it and then cook the rice for however long. No, they got the water boiling and poured it over the rice and sealed it up, and then it cooked on its own, saving fuel and time. But then there has to be boiling hot water also with it. And you combine the two, seal it, cover it with insulation, and then it's done. And you can layer it too. You can use oven bags, put the meat in, and it's hot, and drape the bag over the side. Then you put in potatoes, and they're hot. Drape the bag over the side so they're not meshing together. You've got layers of food. And then vegetables don't take very long, and so you put them in later when the other things are almost done.
I'm Cammie Hunt. I'm from the Single Adult Ward. The reason why you're going to want to pay attention to this booth is probably the number one thing you want to make sure you have on hand for an emergency situation. The number one thing being just having water, which is why we have a couple of water storage options over here. If you have the space, we have the 55-gallon tank. I've also got one of the just little water bricks over here that only holds 3.5 gallons, but it's much more portable. It's much smaller, so you can fit it in a lot of different places. I have 2 under my desk at work. If you have the time and motivation, then you can worry about filtration and purification. We have several options here. We've even got the school project from one of our stake members, where she has made her own little water filter that shows you kind of the basic process. And if you've got the time to move from just storage to water purification and filtration, we don't have to worry right now so much about the bacteria that is in all of the water in the world, but it is there. And the 2 that we're the most concerned about are Giardia and Cryptosporidia, which boiling, if you're able to boil, that'll kill it, but boiling would require either electricity or firewood, which maybe you don't have acres and acres of forest. So then you would maybe go to solarization, where you would put your water in a clear container and stick that out in the sun. From 6 hours to 48, depending on how much sun you have available, what the angle of the sun is. If it's dead of winter, you're going to need more time out in the sun. But if you don't want to have to do a ton of work, you can also just get water filters. We've got one that you could stick right on your tap if, say, the plumbing still works and you have tap water. I've also got the little mini filtration system that you can take with you out and about. I'm going to put this in my car after this. And they even took and made it into a much bigger water filtration system where you have 2 of the more portable water tanks. And this one goes down into this 2-liter guy. He's got coffee filters for if you're using dirty water that'll filter out some of the sediment, and then down into the actual filter that'll make this drinkable water. I would say the very basics are to have 1 gallon of water per person in your house per day for 3 days. If you do nothing else, just get a couple, or depending, I guess, how many people are in your house, just a couple of the 5-gallon little water containers you can find at Walmart, and just fill them with water. If you do nothing else, now at least you have some water, which you're going to figure out pretty quickly is vital to your life.
I am Stacy Hayward, and we are the wheat grinding booth, where we're trying to show people that hand grinding wheat is not too bad, and it's an essential thing, because if the power's out, those fancy electric grinders aren't going to do you any good at all. So the basic purpose of grinding wheat is to make flour. Also can use it to grind rice or rye. So any grain that you want to grind, if you want to make like a hot cereal, you could also make hot cereal, but you want to make bread, you got to have flour. Grinding wheat is quite affordable. You can have wheat purchased about anywhere. So it's an affordable thing, and wheat has been found in the pyramids, so it lasts pretty much forever. So it's an excellent thing for you to add to your storage. You're going to want to do research before you figure out what kind of grinder you buy. They do various hardness of wheats and nuts. So you definitely need to cater it to what you want to be grinding.
The purpose of the grinder is to take advantage of your grains, whether it's wheat, rice, rye, even corn or nuts. But it allows you to turn it into a flour or something you can use other than just as the grain. So you've got a lot more versatility with it. Any of your baked goods, you can use any of these flours to do it with. You'll have different textures, different flavors with that, but it's still any flour that you buy, you can make with the grinder.
My name is Ben Lewis, and I'm with Roamin Home Tents. We're a new wall tent company. We are out of Payson, Utah, and we've come up with this wall tent design that is a cross between a teepee and a wall tent. But the biggest features about it is the compact portability of the package once it's broken down. So essentially, if people are looking for a alternative bug out heat and shelter in the wintertime, this tent and stove package is compact enough to fit in the trunk of your car. Say there was an earthquake in the wintertime and you didn't have your facilities and you had to get out of the metropolitan area, but you didn't know where to go or how to go. Peace of mind says, hey, I've got heat and shelter that fits in the trunk of my car and I can make it out and I have a warm place for my family to be. So for somebody who's never camped in a wall tent, they don't really understand cold weather camping, perhaps. You know, they've gone camping in the summertime and they think camping is fun recreation. But when weather is harsh, it can get really, really cold. Having a wood stove in the center, having a canvas shelter that will hold up against snow, wind, rain, you actually have a shelter that's portable for the times when you just don't know what you're going to be in for. For those that haven't ever set it up before, we have an instruction book, step-by-step guide on how to set it up, how to use it, the pole system, everything that comes along with it. So don't be afraid or intimidated by a tent that you don't know how to set up when you got the instructions at hand.
I'm Royce Richens, and we're here at the emergency communications booth with radios, different kinds of radios, and different ways of communicating. So we have the ham radio, or the FRS radios, family radio service radios, which are good for families, and short-range communications. GMRS radios are also family-oriented with a little longer range of service. And once you get out of those, then you come up to the ham radios. And ham radios require more of a license and a little more knowledge to get the license there. GMRS radios require a license, but it's not a complicated license. You apply for it, the FCC grants that license to you, and then you can have multiple radios in the same family. And from those, then you go on to the more complicated ham radios, the larger radios.
My name's Keith Driscoll, and I'm here at the Emergency Communications booth. So in addition to the handhelds that we have, which are VHF, UHF, GMRS, FRS, we also have what's called HF radio, which is shortwave radio that talks around the world. And it also can cover a large area in the region over mountains and things like that, where the other radios can't do that without repeaters.
Things are progressing, and it's kind of nice to see people wanting to be part of the home. This is Whiskey Zero, Victor Romeo Mike, and it'll be back to Matt.
Okay, well, thanks, Greg. Thanks for checking in. Appreciate it.
Okay, so the reason for our radios is so that we can communicate information between the wards and from wards to the stake president and from the stake or the wards to the city so that we can communicate back and forth. Eventually that information would make it to regional headquarters, government people or city people or whomever. But that communication is all important in an emergency situation. This allows us to communicate at a local level up to a larger level, more to a regional level.
And we have these as options for emergency communications in the event that the grid goes down and people can't communicate with their family members and need to have a way to do that, because if the grid goes down, cell phones are going to go down.
Communications is everything. And so we have various ways of communicating, and that way we won't rely on just one thing, but we can have several techniques of communicating the same information.
Hi, my name's Ann Takasaki, and I'm here at our preparedness fair. We call it Prepare and Provide. We prepare for the future, but we also spend the week providing service and loving hands for people throughout the world. So we want to thank everybody for having supported this event and having experienced something really special. I hope that everyone came away from this with a broader perspective who we are in this global universe, that what we do can be something that blesses people all over the world. And as we look over all the things that happened during the week, the classes that we had in the evenings for preparedness, the things that we did, the mats, the women's kits, the quilts, the plarn, Days for Girls, backpacks, all of these things are blessing families throughout the world. And I really hope that people who were here participating just really had that sense of generosity and abundance, that we have so much to give and to share, and that there's so much joy in doing that. I know that people felt that as they were here, and so grateful for the opportunity.
Everyone, I sure hope you enjoyed this Prepare and Provide event and that you had a lot of fun and learned a lot. And just want to thank all of the wonderful people who sacrificed their time to come and teach us tonight.